Hello, I'm Charles Clark, and what I'd like to do today is give you a quick demo of the new topology views that are included in the Veeam Management Pack for VMware. With any monitoring solution, I believe that context is all important, and what Veeam have been able to do is really a great job of showing you the context and showing you objects in the VMware environment in the context of other objects. Allow me to demonstrate. So if we have a look inside the Ops Manager console here, you can see that we have three topology views: a compute, network, and storage topology. Let's just go through these in turn. So the first one that I want to touch on is the compute topology, and what this is going to do is give me a dynamically updated topology view. All the topology views are dynamically updated of all the objects in my VMware environment that relate to compute. So for example, you can see I've got two vCenter environments here. I've got data centers that are underneath that and clusters that are underneath that. And I can drill in and actually see health state for all the resources that are inside there. So if I need to do any particular troubleshooting, so for example, see an issue that might be in a host, have a look at performance of a particular component inside a host. This particular host is actually in maintenance mode. Or look at a resource pool and see the virtual machines that live inside that resource pool and see them in the context of all the other virtual machines that live inside the same resource pool. So there may be something in the resource pool, one VM, that's impacting the other resources using that pool. So with Veeam we get a sort of really easy way to see that, to see the health state for the virtual machines and see it relative to the context of the resource pool. So I can simply drill in here, see health state and use my traditional troubleshooting techniques like Health Explorer or alert views to see what it is that may have triggered that state change. The other great thing about the Veeam Management Pack is that it actually takes health state from native Ops Manager management packs and daisy chains it together with the VMware view. So for example, in my environment, I've got the SQL Management Pack deployed, I've got the Windows OS Management Pack deployed, as well as the Management Pack for VMware. So if I take a look at one of my SQL servers, I can then drill into my SQL server. I can see the health state for the Windows Server object, daisy chained underneath the virtual machine object. And then I can look and see, for example, here's a SQL instance in a warning state. And so from here, I could open an alert view for argument's sake and see what it is that's triggered that warning state. So this has come from the native Ops Manager Management Pack. We can see that I've got a run as account error, and so I can use that as the basis of my troubleshooting. Now, Veeam do offer other topology views as well, depending upon what your particular area of focus is. So the second one that I'd like to touch on is the network topology. So here we're doing a similar kind of thing. We're providing all the context, but with a view to networking. So if I take a look, for example, at this particular network, my support network, you can see all the vSwitches that are represented for that support network. And then I can see all the virtual machines with health state that are utilizing that particular switch. Now, of course, another added bonus is that I can, use these views and then using native SCOM capability, drop those out to Visio and draw, if you like, a network map or a mapping of all the virtual machines to all the virtual networks to the data centers inside my environment. So I can simply use that to, drop into a Visio diagram, for example, or drop to some other file format. Now, the last of the topology views that I want to touch on is probably my favorite. This is the storage topology view. Often, if there's an issue in your VMware environment, it's something to do with storage. It could be latency, it could be a provisioning issue, running out of disk space due to thin provisioning, all that sort of stuff. So what the storage topology view really does is put that information at your fingertips in a graphical format. Let's take a look. So you can see here that I've got again a couple of vCenter instances. I can just drill in and see all the data stores listed underneath there. and I could drill in again to a specific data store and see all the VMs that are associated with that data store with their health state. So I could use that as the basis for dropping into Visio, and of course I can use it as the basis for troubleshooting. So I could launch a Health Explorer or an alert view from a particular VM, but I can also do that at the data store level itself. So for example, if I open up Health Explorer for this data store, you can see that it's in a warning state because there's a threshold triggered for unknown files analysis. So this is where there are files on the virtual machine, on the data store that don't relate specifically to a virtual machine. For example, the administrator's MP3 collection, perhaps. So, again, we're listing causes, we're listing resolutions. We can actually see specifically which files are being marked as unknown by using a context-sensitive task, which is the scan data store for unknown files task. There it is right there. So when I run that, that will tell me which files are unknown, and then I can go ahead and remediate against that data store and hopefully get it out of that warning state by freeing up some disk space. So with Veeam, it's all about putting the right information at your fingertips at the right time in a nice, easy to understand graphical format with the topology views. Thank you.